I believe that a gentleman should go out of his way to do a lot of things for the woman that he's interested in. Pursuing her requires bold gestures, and in the early stages of dating, I believe there are certain things that are just the right way to do it. I'm talking about taking her to dinner and paying the bill, giving her a ride or offering to pay for her Uber, and of course, arriving on time and being presentable yourself. But where does gentlemanly and chivalrous behavior cross over into the boundaries of simp territory? That is the topic of today's video. So a little backstory here, because this is inspired by a real-life experience. I'm fairly recently single and I moved to Chicago a couple of months ago. It's only been over the last few weeks that I've downloaded the apps and got into the dating scene. When I meet a girl, either in person or virtually, whom I have a connection with, I have a usual protocol. I like to do dinner dates, so I'll ask them out, choose a restaurant and make the reservation. A day before or the morning of the date, I'll ask them if they would like me to call them an Uber because I don't have a car. And I always show up to the date a little early to get the table and just relax into the evening. Regardless of how the date went, I always pay the bill and get her an Uber home. Most women, of course, are extremely appreciative of this. In fact, I had a date earlier this week who told me that she had never had a guy call her an Uber before. The way she told me that made me know that she appreciated it. I know some of you might see my protocol of dinners and Ubers for the first date as rolling out the red carpet a little, but I like to put my best foot forward. And besides, I like going out to restaurants. I don't want to go for coffee. I'm not really a big drinker either. However, I recently had an experience that led me to cancel my date with a woman, and here's why. I matched with this woman on Bumble about a week ago, and we exchanged several messages back and forth, including some voice notes. It was going pretty well. She seemed mature, intelligent, and she was very good looking. So I asked her if she would like to get dinner together. She said that would be lovely, and we had a conversation about the different types of food and restaurants that we like. The first time something smelled off with her was when she texted me, "So you're taking me out to dinner, right?" Obviously, she was checking that I was going to pay the bill. I thought this was rather implied by me asking her. Although the fact that she was double checking was a little off-putting, it could also be interpreted as coy. And I understand that in the modern world of dating, a man asking a woman to dinner doesn't necessarily mean he is going to pay the bill. However, things got much worse after that. The next thing she said to me was, "I'll mark you in my calendar once I've received the reservation confirmation." This said one of two things to me. Either, one, I don't actually trust that you're going to make a reservation, or two, this date is so unimportant to me that if something better comes up between now and you phoning the restaurant, then I'm just gonna go and do that. Up to this point, I was still going along with it because we had really good conversation and I saw some potential. But I was feeling much less excited about the date and less attracted to her personality. After I told her the time and date of the reservation, the next off-putting message she sent was, "Are you going to get me an Uber there and back?" Even though it's something I do, I've never had a girl ask me that before. So again, I would have offered, but asking me before I've even had the chance to offer feels very cheap. Then we get to a couple of nights before the date and she sends me a voice note. I can't play it to you, but I will read it to you, and I want you to understand that her tone of voice in this message was also very entitled and rude. "Hey, so if anything changes regarding this Saturday, please let me know so I can make other plans. I would appreciate that." As soon as I heard this, I no longer had any excitement about dating this woman at all, and she was no longer attractive to me. What happened to me was that instead of feeling like a gentleman, I felt like she wanted me to be a simp. The overall message I got from this woman was, I am not going to make any effort or take any risk on this date, and it's not a priority to me. But the truth is, dating is always a risk, and you have to make that person the priority for the night. To ask all of these questions about who's going to pay, getting an Uber, making other plans, before the date had even begun, felt very classless. And I would have thought from a woman's perspective, it's more about the gesture that he offers rather than the cash amount. So I decided to let her know that as a result of our interaction, I would no longer be spending the evening with her. Here's what I said. "Hi, I had no intention of changing our plans. However, I find your attitude quite off-putting. Please feel free to make other plans. Good luck out there. I have to admit it felt quite good to send that message. And instead of going on a date with her, I used that reservation to go out with my friend Michael from the Gent Z meetup, and we had a great night. So all of this got me thinking, what is the difference between a gentleman and a simp? Most importantly, a gentleman deserves respect. He is not going to tolerate rude, entitled behavior from a woman or anyone, especially when there are so many good women out there. A gentleman is also looking for a lady who understands the unwritten code of dating etiquette. If I've asked you to dinner and I've chosen the restaurant, that means I'm going to pay. Trying to settle everything before the date has even happened feels very transactional. And honestly, the value that I provide on a date is not about what I pay for. I want you to go on a date with me because you like my conversation, you like the way I look, or the way I treat you. On the other hand, a simp does not see the value in his own personality. He accepts transactional relationships with women because he feels like he has nothing else to offer. Taken to the extreme, that means sending money to OnlyFans girls and streamers who he will never ever meet. So gentlemen, I encourage you to do those traditional gestures in dating, like paying the bill and giving her a ride home or giving her an Uber. But stand your ground with women who are rude, entitled, and transactional. Because there are many other ladies out there who will appreciate it when a man treats her well. After my interaction with this woman, my mindset really could have gone two ways. Another man in my position might have been very quick to paint all women with the same brush and be reluctant to do things like paying for the dinner and her Uber in the future. And I understand that perspective. I think it's a natural, emotional response, but I don't think it's the right response. For me, it only made me happier to go out with the next girl and do all of the same things that I would have done for this other woman because she appreciated it. A gentleman deserves to be appreciated for the efforts that he makes. And appreciation doesn't mean going to bed with you. It doesn't even necessarily mean that she's into you. It's about what she says and her body language and tone of voice. You can tell when somebody's grateful. I can also see that a man who would have been desperate to go on this date or to meet this woman might have tolerated that rude behavior just to shoot his shot. But a gentleman needs to know when to take it or leave it. Lowering your standards is bad for your self-esteem, and a gentleman never suffers fools. I don't know what kind of good, abundant man would still be interested in a woman like the one I've told you about. But I want to hear from you in the comments what you would have done in my situation. Would you have sent that message? Would you have gone on that first date? Or would you have cut things off sooner than I did? Thank you for watching, gentlemen, and I look forward to hearing from you.